Girl,
Everybody
it's
follow
packed
the one
out
line,
here today.
please. Follow the one line, please.
I told you.
IDs out. I need to see IDs. Thank you, ladies. Welcome to Park Ave.
Excuse me. Hello? Can you move? What? Excuse me. Oh my God. You ready to go? Girl, I've been ready.
We're here. Hey, girl, hey. But we do have somebody with us, and I'm super duper uber excited because we've never had a guest here. You know, it's like popping cherries again. Who knew?
Oh my God.
It is, girl. It's a long time since I've been a virgin.
What?
No, popping cherries. Y'all didn't call it popping cherries when you lost your virginity?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Thank you. Okay, you know what? I'm about to fire Adriana. I've been waiting to fire Adriana anyway. So
Every week.
So this might actually be an interview. We don't know yet.
I'm going to do my best.
But we have Charease.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. She's an author of 52 Thoughts
for Higher Living.
Yes.
And actually, like, I low-key stalk her on... I think I met you through Shayna. Is that... Yes.
Yes.
I was at... I think me and Shayna, we was at working at Libra, and we, like, escaped because I felt like we were on duty, but she wanted to go to, like, a party. So I went with her.
Yeah.
And,
Shout out to Shayna.
Hey, Shayna girl. So me and Shayna went to this house party, and you were like the cousin of the host, or like the girl.
Was it James?
It was no. James was Shayna's boyfriend at the time, but she married now. But not to James. But you know, neither here nor there.
But that's how I know her.
Okay, so it was
had
James'
to be like
cousin.
Our family something.
Yeah, it was like y'all family stuff. So that is how I originally met
Yeah.
you. And then I don't know why we ended up following each other on like IG and Facebook. I feel like we might have been drunk and then we became besties.
Yeah, that's what happened. I think.
Yeah, no, I
was trying to put it all the way together.
Yeah, I remember where I met you. I don't remember how I ended up stalking you on social media.
Right.
But I mean, I follow you, and the reason I brought her here today is because I've been following her for a while, and I don't know if it's been recent or maybe because I've been like searching for answers to my random ass questions. Mm-hmm. But like, you're very woman empowerment, very, I know you do your little namaste on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I like stalked you when I think it was like San Francisco or San Diego. You went on like a
Santa Monica.
Okay, yeah, you're by yourself.
Yeah, I was by myself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like she journaled her whole experience every day.
That's awesome.
And I was here for it.
Thank you.
I read it and I was like, I woke up and I just didn't do nothing. And then at 10 o'clock, I got dinner. And I'm like, yes!
Yes.
So I brought her here today because, I need help. Adriana act like she'll be needing help, but...
No. I need help.
You've heard our podcast. We a hot mess.
I need help. I'm not above seeking answers from other people because my experience, you probably have experienced things that I may not have experienced, but it could still help me. So I take all of that in.
So we're like hella excited.
Super.
I am very excited.
Me too. You better cry.
Listen,
She says she's gonna cry.
Okay.
So we're waiting
Everyone
for that
knows.
moment.
It better
I literally cry off like a Hallmark commercial. So like I need one triggering word and I'm like whimpering.
I have my camera
like
ready.
that one like dog commercial with Jewel song. Girl, every time. And then they always told that one-eyed dog. So don't like it. And I mean like,
you mean that scam commercial?
oh my God, I donated to that.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't go to the dogs?
Girl.
Oh, well, okay.
That commercial comes on like at 12 o'clock at night.
And I'll be right there. Save the puppies.
Boy.
That's too funny.
So what did you do this week? Oh, it's still going to be a normal show though, guys. So we need to figure out what's cool in our city.
So now I've been going out on dates, right? So
It's say yes.
It's say yes to the date. So
Not the dress.
not the dress.
The date.
Just
The
the
date.
date. So this one gentleman, met him at PV Homecoming. Super cool.
The one that bumped into you, right?
The one that,
Okay.
well, it wasn't like a... Like,
no, I mean, you knew
harsh
him.
thing. But yeah. So, we've been going out to eat and stuff like that. And he was like, okay, well, let's go on a date this week. I said, again, I'm not the lead here. You are. So you pick. I don't want to go to a bar. So, pick something out. So,
Fancy.
it doesn't have to be fancy. I mean, I don't need it to be really fancy. But, so he texted me back and he was just like, let's go to the Houston Zoo lights. So I was just like...
Oh, that's cute. That's what she would say.
I mean, what is it?
It's zoo lights. So the zoo lights. So at the Houston Zoo, they decorated like with these crazy Christmas lights. Now, mind you, I think it's really. I like the holidays, so I was just like, fuck yeah, let's go. But we went, and I thought it was just really sweet and cute. We're just walking around, and I did get to see a couple of animals up close because there were some that were out. But for the most part, it's a lot of families and kids running around. But
y'all hold the hands.
It's a whimsical,
It's very whimsical. They've got different sections that have different lights, things.
Oh, y'all made out.
We didn't. I'm taking it very slow.
Come on, re-virginize.
Yes, girl, I'm taking it
very slow. Your thing will be tight.
Yeah. And then we went to Phil and Derek's afterwards, which I've only been one time. It was a little crowded, so of course my anxiety was like through the roof, so I didn't really get to enjoy it that well. So we went again after we went to the zoo. Mm-hmm. And it was really nice. They had the little saxophone guy. He had all
Come on, jazz again.
Yeah, so it's they played jazz, and ladies were just throwing their panties at this old-ass jazz singer. Saxophonist. And it was really cute. So shout out to the Houston Zoo.
Oh, I thought we was going to shout him out. I was about to say, he the one.
Shout out to Michael.
No.
Okay. Tyrone.
Shout out to the Houston Zoo.
Shout out to the Houston Zoo. That's the place to go if you want to go on a date. If you want to go on a date, you need somewhere to go. It's only $20. It's cute. It's nice.
It's only $20 for the girl who be like scamming the museums. But go ahead.
Well, that's 22. I think 20 is like her number.
Yeah.
You said it was 10. I thought is that 10 when you use your student ID?
Oh, I wasn't paying, so.
Oh, but when you use your student ID for the museum, it's 10, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. She scams the museum. we talking
Anyways,
about that.
We're not talking about that right
I'm about
now.
to actually
put that on record right now.
No, we're going to put that on record. I'm going to call all the museums. I'm going to call all the museums in Houston.
Museum of Fine Arts.
Yeah, I'm going to send her a picture.
She should be like in the...
if you look into she has on like a sweatshirt right now. She looks like a college student.
No. You know how they do you in the like ghetto beauty supply?
Yeah.
And they have your picture from the
I still got access to HCC.
House of Darian.
I still got access to HCC, so I'm not tripping on it. I can go get an ID if I wanted to.
Okay.
But anyways, yes.
Okay.
My mom went low key though. I had a student ID. I gave it to my mom, which was odd because my mom was really bright skinned.
Did she pass?
They used to let her live her life at the movie theater. And I'm just saying, I had a FAMU ID. I had like two of them. I used to lose my IDs all the time, and then I'll like find it. But then I had a new one, and I gave her one.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
So my mom was out here passing as a 21-year-old.
But yes.
Shout out to the Houston Zoo.
Shout out to the Houston Zoo.
And
guys and girls, whatever, if you just want like a plan, something light and cute, I would suggest that while it is during the holiday season.
Cool beans.
So
this week.
So
usually I don't talk to Adriana about my Woman Crush Wednesday.
I'm excited for this one.
However, I didn't realize that this week was the 25th anniversary of the classic.
The remarkable. Incomparable. The legendary.
And if y'all and when y'all try to remake this, make sure I'm dead and gone. Let's be
Please,
clear.
and make sure you can't
even really get nobody to make that movie though. Like I remember when they said Rihanna was gonna do a remake, and I was just like, I don't want to see Rihanna as her,
right?
Because it's
maybe Jennifer Hudson.
No, no. And not that Jennifer Hudson can't sing. Okay, so let's just go ahead and say
Because I'm trying to think, like, who could this be?
My Woman Crush Wednesday is Rachel Marin. And Rachel Marin is Whitney Houston's character from The Bodyguard.
The legendary.
I got the stuff that you want. I got the thing that you need.
Go.
Yes.
Girl, and then
You
when
better go, Whitney.
Frank tried to save her on stage, she was like,
He said
no.
She put that hand up.
And then all them niggas came up, and then she got nervous. I'm like,
She got
Rachel,
scared.
Rachel,
That
Rachel.
thing came off her head.
She know what was happening.
She didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all. So, like during this, I say this often. I'm from Florida, and during the summers, I used to visit my cousins in Miami. So it was like shout out to CJ and Quiniquia. So me and my older brother at the time used to go visit them. And we used to we were bored all day. This was before y'all had iPads and all this extra stuff that y'all have. So during the day, we used to do talent shows, and I used to do Queen of the Night. And I used to do
That's such a provocative song.
and I used to do it in a raincoat. So because she came out in a cape, right? So I
That
used
is
to.
such a provocative
You
song.
know, and let me tell you what happened. I got a couple of Bodyguard stories. I used to do Queen of the Night as a kid and bring up my little raincoat and, give them life. However, so I visited my dad's family, and now that you say it's provocative, I had the cassette
She's trying to
tape.
go through the lyrics in her mind.
Yeah, that's just saying
The
it
Queen
is.
of the Night?
Yeah, I didn't know. I had the Bodyguard soundtrack cassette tape, and I had a Walkman back in the day. I was popping. Shout out to my mom. And I was at my dad's family's house singing Queen of the Night, and they took my Walkman and my Bodyguard tape, and that's when I knew me and them niggas would never get along.
Oh my God.
I felt a way about them taking my Bodyguard cassette tape.
I would have been devastated.
Girl, I was so devastated. But anyway, so Rachel Marin is my Woman Crush Wednesday because she was that bitch in that movie. Let's be clear. Rachel Marin, and Adriana had just put it on her page the other day. Rachel Marin shows up in her first scene, mad. She's pissed off that you niggas even have the audacity to be there.
My favorite part.
They call her name 500 times.
She goes, I'm up.
And that's regal. And Whitney Houston was at her fucking most gorgeousness during the Bodyguard era. I don't know if it's because she was pregnant. Well, she was pregnant towards the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but she had a glow. She was over all these niggas. She just over here just trying to get y'all some coins. Y'all over here trying to put baby dolls and letters on her bed. And she's gonna raise her son and mind her fucking
Fletcher.
business. Yes, raise Fletcher. She just wanted to raise Fletcher.
She wanted to raise Fletcher.
Oh,
But she should have taught his ass how to swim.
Fletcher almost died. Fletcher almost died. Let's be clear. Fletcher almost died. And then the thing was too, she had put everybody on. She was very she loved her team, and even and her team was so whack, except for the black guy. You remember the black guy? No, the old black guy was cool.
Yeah.
And then the younger black guy. Her that white original Bodyguard she had was trash. That's when Frank had to whoop his ass in the kitchen. And then her publicist was terrible because
eating that apple.
yeah, he did be. Frank just want to eat his apple, and that nigga ran up on him. But that's neither here nor there. And the reason she's still a bad bitch is because she fucked her Bodyguard and was trying to make him jealous by fucking the other nigga at the party. You remember that? And that party was in Miami too, because I think they did that at the
You said the Fountain Blue.
The Fountain Blue, that's in Miami. And she was just, Rachel Marin just wanted to live her best goddamn life. And you niggas just, you niggas would really let her. Y'all just want to kill her. And the shady part, the whole time, you're like, who's trying to kill Rachel? She a bitch, but Rachel's popping.
Yeah, not like that.
It was her sister.
And then they sang "Jesus Loves Me" on the patio.
And then that bitch came out to harmonize. I'm trying to kill her. You know what? I don't even want to talk about that bitch. Because then she was hating so hard. It's Rachel Marin's sister was trash though. How you trying to kill your sister? And then after she had cocktails, she was like, I don't know because I was drinking. And then he's like, what's his name? Alando. It's you went and found a king? What is it kings back in California that kill people, the yellow and black girl?
What?
What's the yellow and black gang? Or
they're like the Golden Disciple or something Disciple.
And you probably know.
I watch a lot of gangster movies,
Okay,
documentaries. But anyways,
neither here nor there. Rachel Marin's sister tried to kill her, and they ended up getting shot. And then Rachel still fucked her badass Bodyguard, and I'm here for it.
Rachel.
And Rachel was the first time I learned about brunch. Because you remember, like, no, it was something like 7, right? So, old boy came up and was like, y'all can't go to brunch no more because y'all like have like a set schedule. People know where y'all at. And he was like, you need to just do brunch on like, he named like a random day. It might have been like Tuesday. He was like, who does brunch on Tuesday? At the time, I didn't know what brunch was, but now I feel
So
him.
he was like, brunch is on the weekend.
Yeah, I ain't know. I'm just like,
Just that mean?
yeah, I'm like, what does that mean? Do brunch whenever. And then I grew up and I was like, nigga, you can't do no brunch on Tuesday. I feel him. He right. That's worth death. Brunch is always worth death. Mimosas? Sunday?
Endless?
Omelets? Bacon, bitch? Bacon? I felt him. I feel that on Spiritual Lover every time he says it. So, and then shout out to the Bodyguards soundtrack. It was everything.
Oh, gosh.
Still everything. Still everything. Even though I do prefer I Have Nothing Over I Will Always Love You. My choice.
How do you feel about the AMAs when Christina Aguilera?
I didn't watch it because then I read such bad reviews, and that's not what I want for my and Whitney's life.
Yeah.
I watched it. I immediately had to turn it.
But I get it. You didn't want that to get you out of alignment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it got me all the way out of alignment.
Like,
I was really upset about that. I mean, her range, like, to me, I felt like she was too low when she was singing. And then it's like her face was so distracting because she got, like, it looked like she got a lot of work done on her face.
I went on her IG after like the show, and it was like a picture. I didn't even know that was her.
Mm-hmm. That's what Wendy Williams said. She was like, I don't like this, like,
I didn't know it
thing
was her.
she's doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you know, her hair was like that wet, flip back look, and
I
then
didn't know
her
it was
lips
her.
were her lips were obviously
Bigger.
done, and they were bigger, and it just looked like she couldn't sing because her lips were too tight or something.
I remember
She thought it was gonna wear off.
I don't know. But I mean,
That's a lie.
but it's just like, to me, to have, and then you sang all the classic hits.
I remember Christina when she's coming out of
I'm
a bottle.
sorry, like that just didn't, like that didn't do it for
Yeah, but
me.
hey, I think black people are hilarious. We hold our people very dear to our hearts. Because even I think just a couple of days ago during Thanksgiving, Jimmy Fallon redid "Let's Go Crazy" on one of the floats. And then I read like all the tweets, like, how dare he disrespect Prince. So I feel like we hold our people very, 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 very near and dear. So it's very hard for anybody to redo their stuff.
Yeah.
But then don't not be black though either.
That's what Wendy said. Wendy said, okay, let's be real. A lot of y'all mad because she ain't black.
Yeah.
White people can say, like, okay.
But that's it. Like you barely can do it as a black person.
Right.
And we gonna
Roast your ass.
we
we're
still
gonna take you down.
You better not make it seem like you're trying to do it there, like the song. You better put a acoustic beat to something. You better add
Do an
Add
ad-lib
your own
extra.
run.
Yeah, you better
Don't
make
be trying to be with
yeah,
me.
don't sing the song in Whitney's key in the way Whitney did it. And that
Yeah.
goes for Prince, that goes for Michael Jackson, that goes for
Everybody.
anybody that has passed away. And then people go recreate their stuff.
So who should have done it? Who could have done it? Who could have done it?
I think Beyonce could have done it only because people like Beyonce so much. They would let her live. They would have let Beyonce live,
But
and they like, no, and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people don't like
Maybe
Jennifer Hudson singing, but when she
I like Jennifer Hudson singing. I would think maybe Monica.
Jennifer Hudson did it already. Monica did it already.
Brandy.
Brandy's done it already. BET
Do
Awards.
it again. They need to do
They
it
really
again.
should. Actually, what they really should have did was just recreate what they did on the BET Awards.
They should have done it
Yeah.
again. Maybe had all three.
Because
come
Monica hit
away
you with "I Love the
a
Lord," and I was like,
do a
yes.
melody
she can
or
sing.
something.
Yeah, I love
I
Monica.
love her voice.
But yeah, I didn't appreciate that performance.
I mean, low key, it's very hard to do certain artists.
But
Black
not her, not Whitney, not Nippy.
And I don't really like, you know what? I feel like, and maybe it's just me, but I feel like when I was growing up, like, I'm born in 86, so I'm like a 90s kid. Mm-hmm. When I used to watch the Billboard Awards and the AMAs, R&B was such a heavy influence that you could see all these black people in the stands as well and getting awards. Mm-hmm. I just kind of felt like the AMAs was hella whitewashed.
Oh, absolutely.
And the only people that was like really black on it was Tracy and Diana.
Yeah.
Shout out to Diane, that was a good show.
Really, it was.
That was
super
it.
whitewashed.
And it was just like, y'all ain't got no.
Where the niggas at?
Yeah, like Solange ain't put out an album. They didn't qualify.
It didn't qualify.
Tony ain't got nothing out right now. What Babyface say? Babyface ain't wrote nothing. Babyface ain't wrote nothing. Huh? Really? SZA busy?
Sister's busy.
SZA.
I love
You busy?
her.
I love her.
Yeah. Are you?
her
Was
too.
she busy? I don't.
She was on the week. She was on her weekend thing.
It was a weekend. You right.
She couldn't.
It was a
She
weekend.
was tired of
Ro James is done. Like it's just Luke James or whoever.
Bro
like
James. I met him. He's really nice.
so it's just famous. It's just you know. No, I mean like the AMAs at one point in the Billboard Awards. I remember seeing like Martin and Jodeci. It was very diverse. Right now, it just kind of. I was watching that shit like y'all pulled some people out that I really didn't need to see, and y'all could have got some popping black people on this thing. That's why I beat the Soul Train Awards comes on this week.
Yes.
I'm about to get my life because I love
with Erica.
Yeah, Erica Badu's.
yes, and they giving Queen and we stand for Tony on this show because we say how she got us through breakups and stuff. My girl's getting her an award and we about to get our life. I'm about to get my life.
Tony Braxton.
Oh, let me get my life. But yeah, so Rachel Marin, you still the shit. Whitney, we literally will always love you.
Literally.
Literally. But so, we have a guest here because the topic today is recovering from your old self.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. So we're here with Ayala.
That's me.
AKA.
Auntie. Auntie.
We're here because so what worked? Like I said, I stalked her like on social media, and I see you do like a lot of self-empowerment, woman empowerment.
Yes.
So how did that start for you?
So I have a company also called Total Woman, and I help.
What's the website?
It's IamATotalWoman.com. But I help to create safe and sacred spaces for women to heal. And I help to facilitate that healing. And we offer a 90-day customized thought healing experience because that's kind of what I'm about. Hence the book.
And she has a book as well. We're gonna put it up on our website.
Yeah. But I just believe that our life is a sum total of what we focus on the most. And that if we're able to transform our thinking, then we're able to transform our lives. So a lot of the empowerment part comes from me helping women to kind of identify their foundational belief system and then kind of unpacking where that came from. Because a lot of these thoughts we have aren't our own. Like they're thoughts that were given to us by other people. And because we didn't have any real truth to combat it, we kind of take it on as our own. And, changing our life sometimes is as simple as saying, oh, okay, that's not true. And so I really partner with other women who want to take that journey and who want something more and who want to experience something more and who want to take their power back and start creating the life they really want, not something that kind of happened by happenstance, because a lot of times we're just living and things are happening and then we just keep adjusting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Come on, word.
We just keep adjusting. We don't really take control. You know what I mean? Yeah, like that. So that's where a lot of my work comes from. Just me loving women and being a person who's been depressed, who has thought about committing suicide, who's lost a parent, who's divorced, who's been homeless. Divorced? I'm divorced, girl. He mad. He want me back too every day.
What? Cause you're a bad bitch. Come on, bitch. In the city.
Yes.
Girl, you divorced?
I'm divorced. I was married for 5 years.
You look too young to be married for 5 years.
Yeah. Well.
So how did this? Because I know that there was like a point to
Good
where
skincare, child. I wash my face.
I changed my pillowcase.
A point where you just said, "Okay, F this. This has got to stop." Like, what was your moment where you decided, I'm changing all of this?
It was in the moment happened in 2014, but it was because of all the shit that happened in 2013, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like, in April 2013, my divorce was finalized. In June, I turned 29, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna get my life. This is the last of my 20s. He gone. You know, like, I'm about to start fresh, brand new. Everything about to
live
be
my
good.
life like
I'm
it's
about
golden.
to live my life.
Like
I'm about
it's
to
golden.
be chill.
Come on.
Out here in these streets.
Come on, Golden.
And then 2 weeks after my 29th birthday, my mom died. And I was like,
Was she sick or?
my mom was sick. She died from congestive heart failure.
Okay.
But she was also clinically depressed for a long time, just from relationship things not working out, financial things, overextending herself, not doing self-care.
And do you think you took on that? Do you think you're like your mom, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. But just not making self-care a priority, you know, not getting the help she needed when she was depressed, you know, and kind of turning to alcoholism to just numb the pain, you know what I mean? And from her depression, she developed fibromyalgia, which is like a nerve disability. And it's, you know, the feeling you get like when your feet go to sleep or your hands. It's like that, but all over. So it's like painful to touch. But at the time she was diagnosed with it, it wasn't a real disease yet. Like, it wasn't really out on the market. So there wasn't really any treatment for it. And a lot of doctors thought it was like all in her mind. Now you'll see these commercials for Lyrica and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But this was like 10 years ago. So it wasn't even a real thing, you know? And just to numb that pain, and she just was self-medicating and all kinds of things. But I always say she literally died from a broken heart. Literally. So on her paper, it says congestive heart failure, but knowing her life, like, she was just heartbroken for so long, you know? And so after she passed away, I had moved back home and quit my job to kind of help her. She had hospice care, but at home. So me and my brother moved back home. We all wanted to be together. And she ended up living on hospice for like 2 years because she was like super strong and was like, wasn't finna let nobody fucking kill her. It was going to be her choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when she was ready, that happened. And then a few months later, my brother, you know, was grieving in a different way than I was. And we got into a physical altercation and I just had to leave, you know. But I didn't really have anywhere to go because I had given everything up to be there. And this was like our childhood home, so to speak, you know what I mean? And so I stayed with a girlfriend for 3 months and then another girlfriend for 3 months and was looking for a job and my car was breaking down. Like, everything that could happen was happening. And I remember getting like a temp job and I had my cousin to like do me some paperwork and give me some income going so I can try to go get me an apartment and try to get the system all together. And I got approved for an apartment downtown, which I shouldn't. It was God, really. I couldn't afford. Didn't have
Y'all approved me?
Shouldn't have got it. Yeah, like that.
Y'all sure?
Shouldn't have got approved. Like, you ain't gonna check no references or nothing. Like, I'm in there, like, I got it. And so I remember, like, packing all my shit up at my girlfriend's house that night, like, everything. And there was a little space for I have a daughter, she's 9 now, but she was 5 at the time. Had a little space for Zoe and like a space for me. And I was like, girl, when you get out of school today, we're going our own place, girl. Yes. We were so excited. Yeah, we were so excited. And I leave the temp job to come to the place to get the key, and the office is closed for lunch. And I got off at 5, and the office closed at 5. So there was no way for me to get the key that day. Girl, I went back to work. You would have thought my mama died that day. I went back to work, and it was just like everything just came crashing down on me. And I went in the restroom, and I was like, boy, I'm not who you think I am. And this is it. And I started thinking about what I was going to do when I got home and what letter I was going to write and who was going to get Zoe, because this was the end of the whole thing. And I remember just like slumping my head over, and I was wailing in the restroom. Somebody came in and was like, are you okay? And just not responding and just crying. Like, finally. And I will never forget, like, I was just like, okay, God, I feel like if you give me one thing to be grateful for, I can like pull myself out of this. And so that's why I always say, like, if you ever hear me talk about it, that gratitude saved my life. Because literally I started thinking about a conversation I was having with a friend that morning. Mm-hmm. And she was a teacher, and there was a student there whose father had passed away. And they were getting ready to have to tell the little boy. And we had to get off the phone. And that's who I thought about. And I was like, oh, God, thank you so much for my dad. And then from there, it was just all of these things that I had to be grateful for. And I just started giving thanks. And I had a whole situation and thing. And I was like, okay, it's not the end of the world.
Come
Like,
on,
get yourself
bathroom
together.
stall.
You know what
Come
I
on,
mean?
bathroom stall.
And it was really in that moment of gratitude that I was just like, I can do it. You know, if I'm here, like I have purpose, I have meaning, like there's something for me to do. And so I left that day and I picked Zoe up and I'm like, girl, we can't go home, girl, we ain't got the key. And my daughter was like, oh, let's go to Mama Angela's house. Now that's my mom's house. And my brother was there, but she said it like she was sure that like shit was gonna be okay when we got there.
Kids are so
So I was
kids.
like, you know, you're right. So we went over there. It was fine. We slept on the couch. We got the key the next day. We slept in the apartment on the floor. It wasn't no furniture or anything in there. But it was just like, I obviously have some purpose, you know? And before my mom transitioned, I had started writing like a curriculum for Total Woman. And I was like, I'm going to give this shit to my mama. And I'm about to save her and everything going to be good. And, you know, and I never got to experience it with her. And so once I finally moved in, it was just one of those moments. And God was like, okay, that was for you. So, like, go get your shit and go through your 90 days. And, like, shit gonna be good. And I did. And I was like, oh, this shit worked. And so it was just kind of like my mom's story didn't have to be my story. You know, sometimes we take on other people's narratives because we're so close to them and we look up to them and they're just our everything. And, you know, it's like at some point you have to realize that this life is your own, you know? And you stop trying to prove shit. And you stop trying to be strong. And you find that there is strength and vulnerability and weakness. And that's a part of being a woman and your divine femininity. And, you know, people always, that's why I hate when people say, strong black woman. Strong, you know, it's like, no.
I can't be strong all the time. That's hard.
No. And
it's stressful.
it's not even important to be strong at all.
Yeah.
As important as it is to just be, you know, and be present
Come
in
on,
your
word.
life and show up for yourself. And sometimes that doesn't look strong. And sometimes that looks weak. And sometimes it looks more vulnerable than you'd want to be. And sometimes it looks a fucking mess. And you don't know. And you're confused and frustrated and sad and angry. And that's all okay. You know, but we don't have anybody saying, like, that's okay. We have people saying, oh, girl, come on, you could do it. You strong.
Yeah, you strong. You that. Oh, I hate
like,
that.
nah.
I'm not strong.
So, you know, that was a long story. But to the point, you know, it was when I realized that I have things to be grateful for and that this is my life. And if anything in my life is going to change, I have to be the conduit of my own change. Like,
Well, I guess you just answered it in your last statement. I guess for me, I do, and I said I'm not gonna cry, so we're gonna hold these tears in.
hold them in.
We're gonna
Let him out, girl. Let him out.
Look, that goes against everything I just said. Wow, girl.
because I love to tear up. I think my biggest problem is 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it's like 1 foot is in like my old self. And even though that really hasn't gotten me anywhere and bad things have happened, good things have happened as well in that space as well. So then I have this other foot in this person that like I'm dying to be. Like I want to be this girl. I see this girl. I like this girl. I want to hang with this girl. I want to be her BFF.
Yeah.
I see her, but it's like this hallway that's empty. Because you still have to write your story. Yeah. So it's like I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm 1 foot here. And it's like, well, it wasn't so bad. And then I'm one for there, but like, but I know that's really, 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 really fucking good.
Yeah.
It's so good. But then it's like I remember I called my auntie crying just like maybe last week. Well, no, probably like 2 or 3 days ago.
Like
Thought
no,
about
yesterday.
it.
Wait,
No, actually yesterday. Actually earlier today.
Before I press record. No, and I remember telling her that, and I think I get defeated when I get back into old ways. So it's like, all right, 5 days of what I think is the better me, and then if I fall off on the 6th day at 9 a.m., that's just it for like the month, or the week, or the next 2 months, whatever.
Or then all of a sudden, this ain't your year.
Yeah, this just ain't. And we,
Yeah.
girl, what day is it? It is right here. Somebody get somebody reference on the phone. He told me 2017 was for me.
Yeah.
Bitch, it's not.
It's not.
We'll try
I
again.
think, I read something the other day that said the worst thing you can do when you're faced with a decision is nothing.
There you have it.
That's true. I agree.
The worst thing you can do when you're faced with a decision is nothing.
But people make it seem like, because I'm living out cranes in the sky right now. I say this very often. Me and Solange are 1-on-1. I had to drink it away. I had to sex it away. Almost went back into a whole phase. Another week, another story. But people makes it seem like moving forward is just, it is a step, but you have to be invested in it as well. It's a challenge. To be a better person is a challenge. And not a better person like being a nice person. I'm
Be a better
nice
person for yourself.
for myself.
Yeah.
And that's more work. I think, and when I look back at like my life, I've had, my mom's great, my family's cool, I went to great schools, we got great toys, and Christmas and Thanksgivings was never no issues. And then it's like, how am I so self-destructive? Because I'm genuinely self-destructive.
So that's the question.
But why? Girl,
When
you got the answer?
When you ask it, do you answer your question? Or do you just keep talking about your question?
Girl, great to sit up for that one.
Do you know what I mean? A lot of
I mean,
times
now that you
it's
say that, I
all
do
in our
ask.
head. It's like, why am I so self-destructive? Like, why do I keep doing these things? Why do I?
You never answer the
Why
question.
do I? And it's like, you never pull out your composition book. Like when you got ready for this to start, when you wanted to look over some things and make sure you were in the right place and sure about what you were going to talk about and what you were going to do. Like you have a plan and a focused intention. Like when you ask yourself these questions, it's important to answer them. And it's difficult to move out of the past when you have questions about the past that you don't answer. Because the truth of the matter is what's over there and that girl that you want to be best friends with, who's the best thing you ever seen and who you really want
She's
to
a
be
bad bitch.
really bad, you don't fully know her yet. And you haven't fully experienced her yet. So it's difficult to ask questions about something you haven't experienced. It's much easier to think about the shit that's already happened and answer those questions. Because the answers to those questions are the road to this person that you think you want to be next. But if you don't answer why this and why that and why am I this way and why am I self-destructive and why am I this person, you're never gonna get there. And I don't care how many 5-day stints, like you say, you do, you're always on the 6th or 7th or 8th day gonna go back over there because this is what you feel like you know. But you really don't know because you have questions about it that you refuse to answer.
So are you telling me I need to pull out the whole PowerPoint and ask myself why?
Yes.
And I encourage my clients.
Yes, I have done that. Like after I got my DUI, I was super depressed, and I was really upset at myself for putting myself in this situation, and I really wanted to understand why do I feel the way I feel. So I started writing, and it brought me to a place where I had to undo a lot of things that were done to me as a kid.
Exactly.
Because I've come to find out that your childhood, if you don't resolve certain issues
My child was popping though.
but there's something there between whatever age, something happened between
5 and now.
Whatever in between that time, something has happened to where it has traumatized, and not like in like a, you know, like you got hit by a car type, but something happened that disappointed you. And for example, I remember the day that my mom left my dad. I'm a daddy's girl. I've always been a daddy's girl. But the fact that I remember I was at my grandma's house. I was in kindergarten. She had this yellow rotary phone, and he called. I answered, and he says, "I'm not coming home."
Girl,
and I said,
your daddy did you like old boy from Harlem Nights.
And I said, "Why?"
Harlem Nights.
And he goes, Mom doesn't want me to come to the house, so I'm not coming home tonight." And as a 5-year-old, I could not understand what was happening, but I knew that my dad wasn't coming home. I didn't understand why, but that's the information that I got. And I was so hurt because I wanted my dad. And I had this picture of my mind of my dad. My dad is my dad is my dad. I love him so much.
Like, what could he have done that you don't want him to come back? Yeah.
Exactly. So as years progressed, that image of my dad has never changed, but there were moments where I felt like he should have been there for me, and he wasn't. So a lot of that disappointment and resentment, I kept it to myself because nobody listened to me. I was the middle child. If I was acting out, it was just because I'm acting out and, you know, whatever. But it wasn't like nobody took the time to actually say, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Like, talk, you know.
We were talking through that at church earlier today. And that was one that was one of the things that, and I go to a very like lit church, very non-traditional.
I like churches.
It's very different. But that was one of the things that nobody should suffer alone. And we should ask people, how are you feeling? And I think a lot of times, and even as a parent, like I'm different, but my parents are divorced. But I think as a parent, sometimes I think that kids can't comprehend the truth. And I think we rob our children by assuming they won't understand adult things because they understand a lot.
They do.
So even in your situation, being called and somebody saying something to you like that with no explanation, that can translate into guys leaving with no explanation or cheating when you've done everything right. It just feels like the time that daddy called me and said he wasn't coming home and I didn't know why, and I did everything right, so now I keep doing everything right. And this shit keep happening, but I haven't forgave the moment when daddy called and said I'm not coming home, so I keep creating experiences where the man I love doesn't come home
without an explanation.
And it
makes me feel like, am I good enough for an explanation?
And then you start having feelings about worthiness and confidence.
That's all of that
shatters a lot.
Like all of that played a part, and even like the relationship that led me into drinking so much. That's what I felt. I felt like I wasn't good enough for explanations. I wasn't worthy enough for him to explain himself to me. Like, and I didn't know how to process that. And that writing stuff down as to trying to figure out, to pinpoint where is this coming from? Because I wasn't taught to feel this way. Yeah. Somebody put this in my head, or, you know, I had some experience created this emotion in me. So I really had to go back and really dig, which was not the easiest thing, because then you start looking at all of your stuff because some of the stuff is like you just do it because you're on autopilot.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
And it's not pretty, but you know, it's just like, okay, well, I'm still here, so I got to figure this shit out, because I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that person. And I think that is an important piece to your questions, is you really have to go and dig deep within yourself to find, where is this self-destructive behavior coming from? Where did it start? How did it start? Because you know the answers, because they're in. You were there, but you just have to go back, because sometimes we repress.
I kind of feel like I'm on an intervention right now.
We all are.
I
So
feel
what do
like
you
you invited me because I need this conversation.
No, and like I said,
reflection.
I had been following you for a while.
You
Like
know?
I said, I've been in a space of change and non-change. Like,
Yeah.
I've been in a space where I know something needs to happen, but I'm still stuck in a place like, that's a lot of work.
But you're not stuck, so let's unpack that.
Okay, so I'm not stuck, but it is. Let's be clear though. It is a lot of work though.
The truth is, you're choosing.
I am,
And this is how you take your power back. Now, this is for anybody who is listening who feels stuck. Nobody is stuck. We're all choosing to remain in the place that we're in. At any moment, you can change your mind and not be there anymore. But stuck feels very disempowering, and it feels like you can't do anything about it. When you say
Elma's glue child.
You know, stuck reminds me of like sinking sand. Like no matter how much you fight, you're going down. You know, which is not true about life. Nobody's ever stuck. You are making a conscious, I have made, and sometimes still do, conscious decisions to stay where I am, even when it doesn't feel good, but I'm never stuck.
So what is your suggestion for somebody who wants to like move forward?
Answer your question. This is what I encourage my clients to do. Like you said, like I want to know why I literally am so self-sabotaging. And then you're going to get an answer. And then I always say, then say why, until you have no more whys left. And then you know what is really like the real thing. When you can't ask why anymore and there are no more answers, then that's your thing. And whenever you get to that thing, then you start your process of whatever it might be. It could be fear. It could be unforgiveness. It could be, self-unawareness, issues with self-actualization, resentment, guilt, grief. It could be a lot of things, but you have to decide what emotion and what mental space does that answer come from? And then you start doing your work there. So, like, if it's fear, which I feel like for you it is.
Yeah.
She a bad bitch over there. I just can't meet her.
Yeah.
I can't meet her.
So, for me, listening to you, I don't know what your why is, but I do know that there is fear associated with your whole state of being, where you are now. And I believe the way to uncover that is to acknowledge that you are afraid. Because you can't overcome what you won't acknowledge.
Woo, come on, word. Y'all write that down.
You know what I'm saying? I can't get past something that I won't even admit is there. And really, that's the hard part. Saying, you know what, I'm fucking
Acceptance
scared.
and acknowledgement.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Else.
I'm scared. I'm scared. And then, whatever your higher being is, tapping into that space and asking for help. Because if you were ever afraid as a child, you would go to your mom or dad. You would ask for help. You would ask an authority figure to save you, to help you, to assist you, to give you some guidance, to give you some words of affirmation, to help you feel better. But now that you're an adult, there's a certain level of awareness that there's a being that's higher than you who can assist you, but it's a free will thing. God or whatever your thing is, whatever you call it, is not just gonna pounce on you and be like, all right, girl, you ain't scared no more. No, you have to solicit the help.
Woo, can you jump on me, child?
It ain't gonna happen.
Oof.
You know, you have to admit where you are and then accept it and say, you know what? This is where I am. I acknowledge it. This is where it came from. I'm willing to forgive this. And then you start writing your affirmations to change your mind about the fear that my life is one of security and abundance, and what's over there for me is the best I've ever had. You know, my best life is over there. You know, old things are behind me. Behold, all things are new. Whatever the Bible, you know, the shit the Bible say, or whatever your thing is, or Gary Zukov, who would even tell you that, like, this ain't even real. Like, this is an illusion.
Yeah.
This is not actually what's happening. Or like how Marianne Williams would say, wake yourself up out of the nightmare. You know, this is a self-induced nightmare.
What do you think you're
You
afraid
know?
of?
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
That's also
Y'all-
another thing. Like, in
y'all
my
still
program-
treating this like it's an intervention.
No,
It's
you
like,
already said, I don't know.
I mean, no shade.
I can tell you what I'll tell you what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of not of like hard stuff. I'm afraid of the success.
Yeah.
Because there are some people that are afraid. I'm not afraid of failure. I'm not afraid to jump. I'm not afraid, especially like I'm not scared to. I am scared, but it's not going to stop me from jumping. But I'm also scared of what if it does work? What if somebody's gonna realize that maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm doing? You know what I mean? Like that sometimes cripples me into not doing things because I don't want to be discovered as somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. But then I also think, well, shit, nobody knows what the hell they're doing, really. Like, everybody's
Really
just going off. Everybody's just winging it.
We are.
Like, that's how I feel like people are just winging it. Like, even at the health department. Some of those people don't know what the hell they're doing. And I'm like, how do y'all run this city? And y'all asking
And
me
they're saying
questions.
the same thing. How do we run this city?
Like,
and the city's still being ran.
and the city is still being
It's
ran. But that goes back to me. Like, I feel like, okay, well, shit, nobody knows what they're doing, but they still are perceived as successful, whatever. So maybe I have to change my idea or perception of what is any of that because nobody knows what the fuck they're doing.
I think, yeah, for me, it's that whole fear quote, there is nothing to fear but fear itself. And that's what I'm most afraid of.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm going to get into a situation or a place in my life where I am afraid. And then what am I going to do? Because the more successful you become, it comes with new fears. Like, it doesn't ever go away.
Yeah.
You know? Just last week or 2 weeks ago, I was afraid that I would never be recognized for the work that I'm doing.
Girl,
then,
I recognize you, girl.
and then experiences like this happen where the universe is like, oh no,
girl,
people
watching
see you know, or you go to an event and you win an award with all of the women in business who you admire, and you're texting your dad and he's like, y'all sit there, you ain't won yet, and you like, I'm the baby at the table, and your dad's like, well, baby's gotta eat too. And then you actually win. You know what I mean? So it's like all different kinds of fear.
Yeah.
Before I got started, I was fearful that I would never get started, that my life would be a waste, and that I would just be the person giving my girlfriends good advice all the time. And then I was afraid that I could do it, but it wouldn't make any money. And then I started getting paid for it. And then I was like, well, I'm afraid that I'm doing it, but I'm not making enough money and I'm not charging enough. So now I'm spending all of this time and I'm not getting anything. And then I got into a program and then I increased my price by 300%. And people were like, yeah, I got it. And then it was like, oh shit, I got a different level of worthiness now. And then, you know what I mean? It's like,
each step
thing
that you
comes
take,
with
it
a
comes
new
with a new
fear.
set of fears.
Yeah. And you just gotta, like, Solange said this on Glamour, and I posted it on my page, that, you know, I'm looking forward to the day that I can face fear head on and say, you know, bring that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I seen it.
you know what I mean? it's that kind of thing. But until I can, I'll be over here in the corner, and when you come, I'm gonna heal and work through my shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna get invited to a bum ass podcast, and then you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna view me as the authority and thought healing. You know what I mean? And the shit is gonna be lit, and then you know what I mean. So I'm always scared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always afraid. I'm afraid of myself. I'm afraid of what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like. I'm afraid that I really am a fucking superwoman, Wonder Woman, you know, divine femininity, goddess, Mother Earth. Like, I'm powerful and grounded. And
because that's a lot of weight. Especially if you don't think you can carry
it's heavy.
That's a lot of weight.
You know what I'm saying? I'm walking around praying. I got crystals and shit. I'm trying to learn about my chakras. I'm trying to meditate. I think about smoking weed every now and then. I'm to the next level. You know what I mean? I'm reading my book and your book and everybody else's book. I'm just trying to just trying to stay on my shit every day. So it's it's always it's always a new thing and a new fear.
It's a process.
It's a process.
And
it's
people,
a journey.
People are afraid of the process. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of work. Let's be clear.
But it's a lot of work to stay where you are too. Like, would you rather work towards something that's progressive or be on a hamster wheel? Because you already know what the past
Yeah,
is.
the hamster was tiring too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like you're doing all
That's
this
a good
cardio, but
question,
you're drinking
yeah.
and all this, so you ain't losing no weight. So
Yeah.
then what's
Yeah.
the point? I mean, like,
Yeah, it's
unless you this one and, she
Come
just
on,
stay.
man.
you know,
It's
she is.
genetics.
Genetics.
They just stay right.
I said Adriana is a 0. I said a 2. I think I might have said a 2.
It's 2-4, okay?
0.
2-4.
0. Nada.
Anyways.
Y'all seen her picture? Your picture up on our page right now. In a jumpsuit, she's catty.
That's a 2.
That's a 2? Girl, you look -5. But okay.
Not negative.
Don't you body shame me.
Don't body shame me.
Don't you dare. Okay?
When I
Don't
told
you
you
dare.
look like a 13-year-old, you said
Don't you
okay.
She's like, I'm gonna have to get in the car and heal this shit. She done body shamed me.
You body shaming me.
Something wrong with being skinny.
Ain't nothing wrong.
Slim.
This is genetics, man. My mama was skinny. My grandma was skinny. Everybody was skinny. So that my great grandma was skinny. Look,
And you know, people be hating when you skinny. They be like, wait till she have a baby.
like
What's her name? I got excited. I'm about to kick everybody's shit off. Yeah. So my sister sent me a picture of her the other day holding the baby, and she was like, now she know damn well she ain't showing off this baby. She trying, because she had on a sports bra, so she's just trying to let us know she snapped back.
We see you, Eniko.
We see you, girl.
We see you.
it's probably genetics. Her mama probably skinny.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But no, so we're super duper uber excited. And so I have her book, 52 Thoughts for a Higher Living.
I'm going to jump into this.
Do you give... Oh, this is cute. We're going to post it on our page as well. And we'll tell you guys where to find Charease. Is this, like, does it give us the steps? Like, or what is this?
No, it does not come with steps. Make your own steps.
Like an essay.
Yeah, it's like short essays. It's
Okay.
52 thoughts, right? Or 52 affirmations. And then it has like sub thoughts. So kind of like unpack the big thought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then there's like a personal story.
To each of them?
To each of them. To kind of, places where I've been in my life, and then kind of how these thoughts transform those experiences into something else. So it's talking about divorce. It's talking about the boy calling you pig nose in middle school. It's talking about
Kids are bad.
they're all bad. He called me Miss Piggy in 6th grade.
I had this outfit. I would never forget this shit. I was in 5th grade. I had on like this green outfit, and he called me a green bean, and I never forgot that shit. Boys are terrible.
They are. And he wasn't even beautiful.
And they never are.
He was like loud and heavy set and ugly.
But for some
inside and
reason,
out.
little boys that crack jokes. Everyone likes them. And
Everybody
so
loves him. He was so popular. So it's that whole story about body image and, you know, when this one guy told me maybe you should consider getting on the track team. Like, you know, all kinds of shit. Abortion stuff. I mean,
girl, I cannot.
You're
You're married.
It's like your mama saying, let me just tell everybody everything and a few short stories.
Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome. You know, it's like that, but it's also the good things, and it's also how things can change when you start thinking in a new way and just seeing yourself different, seeing yourself. Period.
Yeah, I think that's great. I always
seeing
like
yourself. Period.
I like to hear other people's stories because sometimes when you go through like those waves of life, you sometimes tend to feel isolated,
alone,
and when you hear like every story is different, but you can still have those common connections.
Yeah.
And I always love to hear other people's story of how they get through it, because I think that's really important, that for people to know that everything is not an isolated situation.
Yeah. None of it is.
Yeah, everybody's going through something.
Yeah.
And we're all connected.
And at a stage of something.
Yeah.
But I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Because I feel like you're a strong person, and like how do you because you know I sometimes I feel like strong people don't necessarily get that how are you
Or fun people. When you're a good time, I think no, this is not a joke. But honestly, I think
they think you're
for
always
you as well.
like you're always
yeah,
good.
like,
You know,
and for me,
yeah.
It wasn't until we did this podcast together that I was like, shit, Adriana holding as much bag as just me, or like in that sense, right? Because every time I see you, big smile, hey girl, hey, and you know, it was a good time, and I feel like even though you didn't know you, like every time I see you, you're super happy. Every time people see me, I'm like, oh yeah, girl, what happened? Turn up, and then I become a caricature of myself in a sense. So people don't think that person has a problem or an issue, or they're sad, or they're depressed, or they have sat in AA for weeks. Like you start to miss like the person, like, but then that person makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't until you got that DUI was the first time I was like, oh shit, what?
Yeah, because I was really sad.
You were, because I remember, because me and you,
sad.
I mean, I knew you were cool, but that is like when I first was like, oh wait, what happened? Because before that, it was, hey girl,
yeah,
you know, 7-Eleven was our song.
I was really sad.
We did 2 steps. No, we did
Everything.
I was devastated.
Yeah. So
but I guess my question is like, how do you deal with that? Because sometimes I find myself struggling because I feel like I'm the strong person that people sometimes come to, and you know, it's like you have to give out your good energy or whatever. Like, how do you
maintain your good energy?
Maintain that and
get
like,
out.
I think it's a few things. The first thing is I don't ignore myself when I'm not okay. Because that's where that's coming from. Like people not acknowledging you or asking you how you're feeling and all of that is because you don't acknowledge it. You don't ask yourself how you're feeling. So people don't give a shit because your energy says that you don't give a shit. So why would I ask you how you're feeling if you don't even ask you how you're feeling? So then you have all these people around you who don't care how you're feeling, but you're asking everybody how they're feeling. So you just keep attracting people who have a need for that, right? So it's acknowledging yourself, you know, and knowing when you're not okay, saying I'm not okay. So that's one thing. Like if you ignore yourself, other people will ignore you. That's a big part of it. But the second thing for me was like letting go of friends who were that way. Like creating a whole different tribe from this new person who actually do care about me, who even when I'm happy, they'll sit down and say, sis, you not yourself. Like, I don't feel your energy. Like, I know you're being all, you know what I'm saying? And then I can literally lay my head in her lap and just cry. And she's going to know I'm not good because she's in my real tribe and she cares about me. And she's not here to get anything from me. You know what I mean? But there were friends who I was friends with for 20 years who I'm not friends with anymore because they didn't care how I was doing. And when I was friends with them, I didn't really care, I guess, But when I started changing and doing my self-care and actually acknowledging my feelings, those friendships kind of went away. But I started attracting friends who were on my same vibration, And the universe knows when you're lying. So you can be acting happy, but your vibration is still low. Yeah. So even though you're acting happy, you just attract people who like to be around people who act happy. It doesn't really make you happy. The universe knows that your energy is at an unhappy level, so that's what you attract. Forget about that bullshit you out here.
Yeah.
It knows. It's energy all around us. You know what I mean? So I really started paying attention to those things. And all of my girlfriends I have now, they're less than 5 years old. But when I tell you we're like sisters, and I was one of those people who, like, I don't need no new friends. I've been having these friends since 9th grade.
No new friends.
You know what I'm saying?
New,
We've been together. We've been through things together. They know me. They ... But it just wasn't good for me. And not that they were horrible. They just weren't good for me. And I'm sure they're amazing friends to some other people now. So, acknowledging myself, changing my tribe, and being open to new people, and then, prayer and meditation, and none of this stuff can be done without a spiritual practice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's the thing that keeps you grounded and centered and feeling good to attract feeling good things, And then the last thing is not being strong, which I talked about earlier. I realized, I don't have to have a label. I don't have to be the strong friend, because sometimes when you're the strong friend, you pride yourself on being the strong friend. That's like an A in class.
You can have strong moments.
If I'm the strong friend, it's like, I got a 4.0. Shit. All y'all need me.
Yeah.
I don't need nobody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the top of the tribe every day, all day. Like, and it becomes...
Come on, summa cum laude.
Yeah, it becomes an ego thing. So, like, really releasing, the ego, which if you're reading The Seed of the Soul, then it's,
I would love to read A Seed of the Soul.
I said I would bring it back to you.
I would bring it back to you. I would love to know what they say in that book.
So, yeah, kind of those 4 things. Acknowledging myself, creating space for a new tribe, creating a spiritual practice, and removing, y'all
I love that. You're awesome.
You're pretty.
You. Y'all are too.
You're a fucking queen.
I'm
a queen. She got a crown and everything.
A crown of beautiful.
She came to this hot mess.
No,
you're
my reflection. We the same, boo.
Indeed.
Do you have... Okay, so like I said, we're going to put her book on our page as well as her IG stuff, but shout out your IG stuff. So
yeah, so everything is Charease Davis. Charease Davis with a V.
And that's IG, Instagram, Twitter. You got it all?
All that.
Snapchat, everything, child. Everything. And Adriana, do you know your stuff today?
My what?
Your IG stuff or no?
No. Can you say
well, her IG.
__ in the city.
That is it. And I am Natoya. I'm Natoya Ebony everywhere. It's at Recovering Party Girls on Facebook and IG. Yeah. On Twitter, it is at Party
Girls Pod.
Boom. That is it. And if you want to send us some letters, it's Recovering Party Girl. No.
Recovering Party Girls.
Woo! Recovering Party Girls at Gmail is our email address. But recoveringpartygirlsletters at Gmail is actually where you can send letters if you want our advice. We give good advice. I mean, it sounds like a shit show, but it's not. we sound like a hot mess, but we're not.
Just send your letters.
Just send your letters,
We want to
friends.
hear your stories.
We do. We tell all our business. You need to go ahead and tell us yours.
You'll be anonymous.
You will definitely be anonymous.
It's
Sure.
such a good show.
Well, thank you, Charease.
I'm
Thank you
so happy
so.
to be here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Genuinely, thank you so much for coming.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I will continue to stalk Charease on social media like I do. And you guys should too, because
Thank
it's
you.
very uplifting. It's very positive. And sometimes randomly when I'm going through some shit, her like status will pop up and it'd be everything I
It'd
need.
be a word.
It'd be a word, bitch. But thanks guys for listening. We really do want to have you back though.
Yes,
Well, and I'm
100%.
actually. Well, I'm gonna have you back once I answer my who, when, where, what,
Yes.
there, and then
Ooh,
we
that
can,
would be
That would
good.
be awesome.
and I just want to throw out that I held these tears back because a couple of times I was about to cry, but I talked myself out of it.
Why?
Look at God, girl.
Look how strong your mind is.
Girl, I can't be in here crying.
Why?
I cry off Hallmark commercials. I don't have time for this every day.
Let it go, girl. Let it flow.
Let it flow.
First
that what it is,
thing
Sam?
Monday morning.
Come on, Tony.
I'm gonna
pack my tears away.
Pack them away. Tomorrow's Monday.
Oh, come on, Monday.
Tomorrow's Monday.
Thanks, guys, for listening.
Toodaloo, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so
Charease,
much,
for
Charease.
coming.